Nice to see the pick six.
That was great. We haven't been hot on the interception trail. It was great to get one early. Great to get a defensive score. I thought the guys did a really good job. Not only Marion had a great interception, but the other guys gave some key blocks as he was trying to return that thing. So that was a great job by the whole defense.
He's like JVM. He's playing at an all-league level.
Really popped this year. He said last week this was kind of his expectations. Realistically, kind of what were your expectations for him this year in this defense?
Yeah, I think we touched on it briefly last week. My expectations for him were to play at the level he's playing at. Just thought it might come a little earlier, but he took a few games to get going. I think right now he believes in himself. He has a lot of confidence. He's cutting it loose. He's not worrying about making a mistake. I think he's playing really good football, and I hope he keeps it up.
Mean to have two ends that, they're going to both be well over double digit. At least they're on pace for well over double digit sacks, but what does it mean to have two D ends that can offer that to you?
Yeah, I think it's huge. You can get in. Now you're at the point where you guys have said it before. There's been a lot of non-traditional sacks. You're at the point now where you can get some four-man rush, and they can't identify. Oh, we got to slide it one way or the other. We've got to chip one way or the other. You got to keep account for both guys right now. And if you guess wrong, then you got another guy that can go get the quarterback. So that helps out everybody in the front.
How do Ahmed and Jaden kind of play off each other? And we were kind of asking Jaden after the game, like he took the sack lead over Ahmed, and he just kind of had this like proud smile on his face, like it was just like that's wild, how do those guys kind of play off each other?
Yeah, I think our team, they want the team to do well, whatever it takes to win. That's what they want to do. But there's also a very high sense of competition in the building. And whether that's in a lead for the sacks or a lead for TFLs or, just doing your job and grading out better week to week, I think there's a high sense of competition. So, and he knows how good of a player Ahmed is. He knows that he plays at a very high level as well. So, for those two to be neck and neck, I think that's pretty cool.
At this point, with the edge, the way JVM and Ahmed are playing, are you seeing offenses playing you more balanced, where it's not, hey, JVM's getting all these sacks because Ahmed is getting all this attention? It's kind of at the point now that it's more balanced in that regard.
Yeah, I think it's more balanced. I also think that, everyone has deficiencies, on their offense. Everyone has deficiencies on defense. We have deficiencies, whether it be schematically or a player. And I think right now, if one of your deficiencies is one of your offensive tackles, and you got to really help that person out, then you're going to leave the other guy kind of, on his own, which is a tough duty on either one of those two guys. So I think that it's causing them to, have to say, well, we're going to live with somebody having a one-on-one. We're going to help the other guy, and maybe next time he gets a sack, and we're helping that guy now and leaving the other guy one-on-one. So it's a give and take. But those guys are both playing at a high level, and they're really helping out everybody else in the pass rush.
I know that the goal is to pressure and confuse the quarterback. You want to start fast. Is that the best first 15 minutes of football you guys have played this year on defense?
Man. Yeah, I guess I wasn't ready for that one. It was a really good first 15 minutes. I'd have to look back and see all of the games. I know we played some early ones, but I would say probably yes.
What's so impressive about it then? Because, San Diego State's been pretty overwhelmed there for a while with you guys.
Yeah, I think, everything we talk about, starting fast, we need some 3-and-outs early. We've got to create more turnovers. The most impressive thing, I think, for me was just the kids responded. They did everything that Coach Danielson, myself, our position coaches, everything that we've asked of them this week, they went out and executed that piece of the game plan. So that was the most impressive part. And then obviously later in the game, we got some other guys in there, and didn't think that everybody that was in played to the standard. Like to finish those games, especially when we can get a new crew in there or a different role for some guys playing some different positions. But, they've earned the right to play in games, and I want to just see those guys finish the game.
You expect San Diego State to be throwing the ball as much as they were early on. Marquez Cooper, and it looks like they were almost forcing to pass the ball at times.
Yeah, I think that they have I'm not in their meetings, but I think that they have a RPO attached to just about every run, and I think there's some things that they look for pre-snap. I think we did a decent job of disguising some leverage and moving around a little bit, maybe telling a young quarterback the RPO is there. So I don't know if that was just their game plan or maybe some of the looks that he thought he had some things and he really didn't have them, but. Yeah, I thought they might come out and run the ball a little more too, but it might, they might have those run plays called and they just had that RPO look. I'm not exactly sure, what they told that young guy to do.
You mentioned just some other guys getting in there and the score getting out of hand, obviously, in the second half. But how did you look at the 2 for 14 on third down and the 6 for 6 on fourth down?
Yeah, and once again, it's like a lot of those fourth downs came in the second half, and we just got to play them better. There are some things that definitely things I could have done to help those guys that got in at the end. It's always a balance of what have they repped, what are they ready for. San Diego State did a good job on some of those down and distances on some play calls as well, and they did a nice job just schematically on some of those things, but obviously did not like that.
How was it changed defending fourth down? I mean, I think last week Derek was saying the analytics sometimes say go for it on 4th and 6th, but it just seems like teams are going for it on 4th a lot more. How's that changed for you?
Yeah, I think you put more of an emphasis, I guess, in the game planning process. Like it used to be kind of like fourth down. Like, what do you guys want to call? I don't know. What's our best call? We can fit everything. Now I think you got to put a premium on what people are doing on fourth down. As you said, I think everybody subscribes, not everybody, but a majority of the team subscribe to the analytics company now, and those people are saying to go for much more on fourth down. The head coach still has to make the decision, and he's still got to stand at the podium after the game when you go for it on fourth down. But it's more, I think, reassuring for a head coach / offensive coordinator now that when the book says it and your gut says it, let's go ahead and do this. So especially when some games are getting, more than 2 scores ahead, then it's becoming a much easier decision.
From everything you knew about Marco, did you have any idea he had the ability to run the ball?
Well, I guess I didn't really know until we obviously practiced that in practice this week, and I got a chance to watch him do it quite a bit. That cutback was pretty sweet that he had there. I didn't know he had those hips in him, but that was pretty cool to see.
A lot of talk we've had about him this season has been on his special teams play, but I mean he's still 6 in tackles for you guys. He had that fumble recovery earlier this season. I mean, maybe not the most flashiest plays, but what does he still mean for you guys, for your defense?
Yeah, I mean, that's Marco day to day, right? He's not a super flashy guy walking around the building, but he's consistent. He does his job. He's going to be where he's supposed to be. He's physical. He's tough. He's a great practice player. He's got great leadership ability for us. And like we don't have a ton of depth in the linebacker room. Some of those young players are really coming along, but we need to keep him and Drew healthy, and we need to rotate those guys a lot. And when Marco's number's been called, he's made a lot of big plays. I mean, in my opinion, one of the biggest plays in that Washington State game was the fourth down stop that he had. So he's had critical stops. He's had critical plays through the season, and I appreciate the heck out of Marco.
What stands out to you about Nevada?
A lot of things right now. We're getting all the way through it. They've got a very mobile quarterback. He can throw the football. I think their running backs have been a really good crew, especially when they've been healthy. I know they've been banged up a little bit, but when they've been healthy, they've been a really, really good 1-2 punch. They got a 6'6" wide receiver. Their tackle, number 70, I don't think he's given up a sack on the season. He's come a long way. So I think that they have a talented bunch. I know they're in the process of first-year head coach, first-year offensive coordinator, obviously have a longer relationship with Matt Lubick. He does a really good job, and I just think those guys will continue to get better, just as San Diego State under a first-year head coach. They've continued to get better and better through the season. So it's a good unit, and we've got to prepare well.
Dirk about Spencer Jamison and how he kind of, I guess, handles assistant coaches. And he said, he'll present you guys with thoughts and information, and then he kind of lets you guys just do your jobs. You've been around for a while, Eric. How unique is that approach? And why does that seem to be working this year? A lot of these assistant coaches were here last year, You guys are 4-5 at this point in time. Why is it working so much better this year?
Well, I think Coach D does a great job. Like I guess, last year was the first defensive head coach I've ever worked for. Spencer is the second, now, but he does a great job with us. Like, I don't know what happens in the offense room. I'm not in there with those guys, but he does a great job with us, at least early in the week, of saying, here's some thoughts I have. Here's some things I know I need answers for. And not so much like we weren't going to find the answers, but he wants to know what they are so at practice he can, participate. So I think he does a really good job of what's important to him, making sure that we know that, making sure that gets handled. And then he does a really good job of sitting in there with us when he's not busy doing whatever else head coaches have to do. But he'll sit in there with us. He listens. He takes it all in. And then he'll say, hey, this could make that idea just a little better. So he does a great job with us of not being overwhelming, but giving us structure, giving us a lot of great suggestions that we'll use through the game plan.
Most head coaches were coordinators at some point in time in their careers, right? So that means that they got full responsibility of one unit. And when you go to a head coach, it is more kind of like, hovering over it all. The way that he approaches it, why do you? Why does it work so well? Why do you feel like you have more freedom, I guess, to just kind of do what you feel like you need to do to be successful on defense?
Yeah, I think we have a ton of freedom, but we also understand that we can't just be loosey-goosey, and we know that he's going to keep everybody in check. I think another thing that's really unique about him is he's not going to spend 90% of his time with the defense. He's going to make sure he's ready for the defense, for the offense, for the special teams. He's going to get with all three phases of the football so he can participate in practice. It's not like he's down there with the defense for 2 straight hours and the offensive guys never see him, or the special teams. So he's participating in the whole thing. Everyone understands that he knows each phase of the game is important. The kids respect that a lot. So I think he does a great job with that.
You're a Chip Kelly guy. Got your start. Have you ever coached against him in a game, like where you're coordinating a defense and he's like the head coach or an OC?
No, I guess the closest one would have been last year in the bowl game. Spencer, was still calling the game. But I'm trying to think. I think that was the first time ever, gone head to head with him, I guess, if you'd say, other than scrimmages and those kind of things.
Still in touch?
Yeah, still in touch. Not as much as probably should be, but still we talk quite a bit.
That seems to have this massive ceiling of where he can take his game to. I know it hasn't been perfect, but where have you seen him this last half of the season start? It seems like play faster and really start to kind of come into his own, maybe.
Yeah, I think as you grow in football, experience and reps, the thing that allows him to play faster is he anticipates things before they happen. Now, some of those things that a guy like Alexander Tubner can anticipate, what's the call going to be once before the motion happens? Am I telling those guys over there, here's how we're going to play this thing? And that allows me to play faster as well. Splits, looks in the backfield, just maybe they're not 100% going to happen, but having that little bit of anticipation, I think he's doing that much, much better right now. And I think he's really playing good football.
He's such a nice kid, but he also seems to play with a little bit of an edge though too. Where do you see him kind of flip that switch or whatnot?
Oh, there's no doubt. Like when it's time to walk around the building, even in before we get in the film room, he's an easygoing dude. He's laughing, he's joking, he's having a good time. The guys really enjoy being around him. When it's time to watch film, when it's time to get on the field, that thing flips, and he's a different dude.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys.
Appreciate you.